So I might be crazy, but when I see athletes doing the Trump dance, or John Jones giving Trump his UFC title belt, it doesn't feel like an exception anymore. It feels normal. But when I watch stuff like the latest Jaguar ad, it feels anachronistic, like it's their version of trad posting. But instead of a blonde girl wearing a dress in a wheat field, it's this creature wearing a dress on the set of the Bye 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 music video. It sounds weird to say, but the left are the conservatives now. At least that's how they're acting. Once the Trump dance started to catch on in sports, we started seeing lefties complaining that politics has taken over their sports viewing experience. Sports isn't a place for celebratory dances, it's a place for crying about slavery. They're even running to alternative social media platforms, the latest one being Blue Sky. There you'll find posts by Mark Hamill, Barbara Streisand, and the Reading Rainbow guy. It's basically the social media equivalent of Dancing with the Stars, but somehow gayer. A new X account called Libs of Blue Sky has been collecting some of the most unhinged things going on there, but I was particularly interested in this picture. In it, all the left's accomplishments are set up like dominoes, the last of them being trans rights. The furthest one you can see is labeled literacy, which is great, as if Ellen Page's top surgery is a direct result of Hooked on Phonics. But that's a decent picture of the left right now. They're trying to dig in and hold the ground that they've gained. We saw this with Kamala's "We're not going back" slogan. They want to conserve what they've been building for the last few decades. And as if to prove my point, this week Jon Stewart did a whole segment about how the Democrats are acting like impotent hall monitors, whining about hypocrisy and decorum while sporting an atomic wedgie. They're the ones on the defensive. They're the ones standing athwart history yelling stop, holding on to norms that have already been shattered, and of course going on the news complaining that what their enemies are doing is unconstitutional. The best they're hoping for is to slow us down. They're Mike Pence and Mitch McConnell, which is why they get along with those guys. Over the last 8 years or so, the left made Trump the central figure of American life. That was fine as long as he was the villain, but either way, he's now the uber celebrity. All the celebrity endorsements Kamala could roll out didn't mean much, because we had the celebrity, and he also just happened to be our candidate. The moment the needle shifted to 50+% pro-Trump, people felt more comfortable supporting him in public, doing the kind of Dancing with the Stars that people care about. And that's going to continue. By making Trump the focus of all public life, the left imbued him with a power that they can't counter. Kamala may have had 100 billionaires backing her, but we had the billionaire. For once, we didn't just have an alternative. We bought Twitter, and it really did feel like we bought it. As Gary on X said, it's all about proximity to power, and no one on Blue Sky has any power whatsoever. For years, conservatives have been saying right-wingers are the new punk rock, or saying Parler or Getter was going to be the next big social media site. Up till now, that's been mostly wishful thinking. But now we're actually in that era. Think about it. Who's the big political figure of the left who would send a packed arena into a roaring cheer like Trump did at UFC? But the left has decided to do the most conservative thing ever and refused to learn from defeat. Politico posted an article urging future candidates, don't give up on Democratic celebrities just yet. They're like a guy at a bar who thinks this girl will marry him if he just shows her one more yo-yo trick. The delusion is kind of impressive. So yes, they're acting like conservatives, which is another way of saying they're acting like losers. But the chief thing they wish they could conserve is their narrative, because the narrative gave them everything. If you own the narrative, every action you take can be justified by it. So when they lost the narrative, they lost everything. And I can't stress enough how big of a deal Elon was in this. We're in the middle of a preference cascade, and preference cascades can only happen when people can see and hear each other. They're impossible when the first person to speak out gets their account suspended. So MAGA has the mandate, and they have the cultural momentum, which is a strange position for right-wingers to find themselves in. The worst thing they could do is waste it, but I don't think that's going to happen. After all, wasting momentum is what conservatives do.